everyone!
Hi!
So we are here. Not on a happy note at all. Like, this is just awkward.
It's awkward.
I feel
it doesn't
awkward.
feel real.
It doesn't feel real. Jessica isn't a part of Girls' Generation anymore. They're continuing as 8 people.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, like, I can't.
It's weird.
Okay, so the whole thing started when Jessica posted a Weibo message basically saying how she's been kicked out of the group for no justifiable reason, and she feels betrayed, and she doesn't understand why this happened, and that she still wanted to be a part of the group, but they wouldn't let her, etc., etc., etc. And then this is where SM, I mean, you could try to flip it either way, but this is where SM just, it turns so messy because, first of all, they did not say anything for hours. I'm talking about like 4 hours. And it just kept building up. Like, all these rumors started going about her and Tyler Kwan, and then her and the members not agreeing, but then her and SM not agreeing. All the other Girls' Generation members showed up to go to China for the fan meet. She wasn't there. Everyone was looking sad. Everyone was like, what's going on, etc., etc. So then, finally, after hours, they stated this coming spring, due to her personal situation, which you can say marriage or wanting to be a designer, going to school in New York, her fashion line, etc., she notified us that she will halt her team promotions with the release of 1 album. So she was gonna take a hiatus, not work on 1 album or whatever, and still be a part of Girls' Generation. Hence, which would make sense why everyone renewed their contracts for 3 more years, because she still wanted to be in the group. Despite Jessica's sudden notice, the agency and the Girls' Generation members tried our best and tried to figure out a way that Girls' Generation activities can continue in the best direction possible. Basically just means that they were going to try to figure out, okay, which album is she going to miss? Which way is she going to do this hiatus, because they have the Tokyo Dome tour? I'm sure they're just thinking of all those kinds of things.
Right. Then they go on to say, however, in the midst of insufficient negotiations regarding conflicts of differences in priorities and interests, Jessica started her fashion business. So basically saying she did it without telling them in a way. I don't know what they're trying to say, because conflicts of differences, like,
what does that mean?
Due to this, despite ongoing talks, it has come to a point where the team could not be maintained. So even though they talked and were trying to figure it out,
everyone's already renewed their contracts,
and everyone already signed those dotted line, the team couldn't be maintained. Thus, the agency had no choice but to pull up Girls' Generation's activities as 8 members earlier than planned. And in the midst of all working out when to announce this, Jessica had posted her words early this morning.
Hence the Weibo message that everyone thought was the hacker.
Exactly.
You can paint this literally any way you want to. And at the end of the day, I just don't understand why, after 7 years, after all this stuff, I mean, if there's stuff in between the members, I mean, I don't hope that they hate each other. At the Chinese fan meetup, they were all crying and like it was just not really the best time ever. But I mean, after 7 years, people do change. Obviously, I'm sure there are arguments here and there, but it's just weird, because you would think that after all this time, after all these years of them being like a solid Girls' Generation and doing everything they've fucking accomplished, like, oh my gosh, that it came down and happened like this because you couldn't figure out a way for her to do what she wants to do and still be in the group. How did it get to the point to where it had to go like this, and then to be so messy in public and to rip apart everything within the matter of hours? Let's say, even if they do come back, it's like, haha, just kidding, Jessica is still a part of Girls' Generation, gotcha. It's like, you already kind of tore it apart, because now people are looking at the member sideways like, oh wow,
posting all this stuff and trying to say, oh well, look at this, and so was foreshadowing this and talking about this,
or like, how could they all agree to kick her out? Did Jessica not have at least one person stand by her? Is it really all of them versus Jessica, or is it really Jessica versus them? Or now we hate Jessica because she ruined Girls' Generation, or now we hate Girls' Generation because they fucked over Jessica? Like, you can split it literally any way you want to, but at the end of the day, when it comes to SM's history and just handling things, like when you go back to DBSK, and then JYJ still can't even freaking perform on music shows, and Super Junior, and it's just like, damn.
Seems like they were too willing to like let it fall apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were too like they could have tried. There's things they could have done to accommodate what was going on easily. Get married, come back, cool. School, all right. She can fly back for it. She can do what she needs to do. She can do all that. But I feel like they like not gave up, but just like didn't care enough about this group that they created, and that it has been 7 years, and that they did sign their contracts for their 10-year anniversary. It doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't add up, SM.
And then other people were saying that, like, the reason why they cut it short is because she did start the line, and then they didn't want her to be able to still, like, I guess kind of have the Girls' Generation name and earn those royalties from Girls' Generation while still earning the money from her line, was just as like, but you know what? Stupid. She's been in this group for 7 years. Like, this is a part of the group. What do you mean earn royalties or gain or use the name? She's a part of this.
The fashion line is not called Girls' Generation. It's not called SNSD. Like, her fashion line is her thing. They acting like this girl is rolling out handbags and t-shirts and jeans right now.
Selling merch.
She has sunglasses. That is all she's trying to do right now, is work on her sunglasses, go to school, and then roll out the rest. But they just want to like play her like that, like, and then at the same time you say they don't want her to be able to use the Girls' Generation name. She's still signed to SM, so SM still gets to make money off her name. They still making money off her. If you're still signed to a contract, they still basically own you. Your contract, you belong to them.
Yeah,
they're making money off of you still.
After all this came out, and then going back and reading her message that she said on Weibo, it's like, this is like she said, she literally said this is some pain that she would never wish upon anyone, basically. And it's like, dang, like, I wouldn't either, because that is some shitty shit.
Just
like,
that's 7 years of your life. That's your livelihood. That's probably what you've worked for so hard in your life. You know what they go through as trainees. You know what they go through as rookies.
She came from America.
Exactly.
She wasn't born in Korea. She's Korean American. She left her whole family to go to Korea to pursue her dream of being a singer and all this stuff. And she made it. She's in the biggest selling. Oh my God! Like, I can't.
Like, and then they expect her. If you found that out and you were in the airport and you were on the way to join your group for your first fan meet in China, y'all just signed your contracts, you think everything's good, you got all this going on, and
you're
then
trying
it
to
all
work things
falls
out
out of your asshole at one moment. I'm sorry, I would have been like, I would have tore it up. This keyboard would have been on fire.
Jessica is no small part of Girls' Generation. She is one of the main singers, so she has a lot of lines in all these countless songs they've made over this span of 7 years. So it's like, literally everything is going to change. And some people were upset because they feel like Jessica has the most unique voice in Girls' Generation, and they feel like Girls' Generation is never going to sound the same anymore, which technically it's not. If EXO were to lose Dio or Baekhyun or Chen, what do you do?
What you gonna do?
What do you do when it comes to the music? There's other singers, but it's like,
it's not, you don't have that Dio up in there. You don't have that sound. So, like Courtney said, it would sound completely different. It's not gonna sound the same.
Like, who's gonna say the GG and the boys? Who's gonna say let's bring it back to 140 and I Got a Boy? Like, there's literally so many lines and so many ad-libs and so many things that everyone clings onto. And there's so many things that everyone remembers. And Girls' Generation was a leader, like, in the Hallyu movement. And it's just like, they're one of the it groups in K-pop. In general, they are one of the biggest selling girl groups of all time. Like, Spice Girls, TLC, Destiny's Child, The Supremes. Like, when you go into that broad international stand, like, they are in that category. And to just watch it all crumble like this, everything changed. The dances, 8 people. The songs, 8 people. Old songs completely changed. Who's singing? Are they splitting it up? Are they one person taking over Jessica's parts? Like, how do you even go on and try to be a solid form? Because in K-pop, like, people are harsh. Like, if you kind of ruin your image or some shady mess happens, it's kind of like people are always going to be looking at you like this. Like, no matter, yes, they can still continue. They can physically continue. They can do whatever they want. They can continue with 8 people. Someone else may get mad and it drops to 6 people. They can do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, like, what are you willing to give up for your legacy? Because nothing's going to change what they've done.
Exactly.
But from here on out, it's just put this weird kind of funk on the whole situation. And it's just weird because, like, this is Girls' Generation. How do you not take more care of this group?
And it's like your top group. It's your top earning, top group on your record label. How could you let this go so easily? So
but
simple.
Then it's like they've done it before. So
That's
then it's
true.
like, it's just like...
That is so true.
It's just like, ugh. Wow. SM couldn't get any more messier if this was the messiest mess they ever made. So, overall, those were all of our thoughts and feelings from everything we've read. And we just wanted to vent. And we really want you guys to vent in the comments. Let us know how you feel. Because like we said, you could literally paint this any way you want to. You can... put the blame on anyone you want to. You can try to make it seem like it's any way you want to because SM didn't do this carefully and nothing was done properly. So it's just a mess.
None of it makes sense. The way it went down, their justifications. She has a lot of like milestone things going on in her life and they're willing to kick her out. Instead of saying, oh yeah, you know, you've been with the company so long, let's just work this out, do what we need to do, blah, blah, blah.
What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? How sad are you? How hurt are you? Just how do you feel about everything? Let us know in the comments because this is just too much. Stay strong, Jessica.
Yes.
Stay strong, Girls' Generation.
We love you all.
Everyone, stay strong. And just at this point, expect the worst, but just wish for the best.